Thank you for spending time with us today.
Yes, definitely welcome everybody. And I am so happy and so proud to be doing this with my brother over there.
Great pleasure to be here with you today, JT. I am senior veteran coach Aaron Daugherty. I'm a Navy veteran. I served from 2006 to 2009. I am 100% P&T right now through the VA. I am joined today here by another amazing senior veteran coach. As he mentioned earlier, I met John a long time ago when we first started here doing classes, and I am honored to be here with him today. So tell us about yourself, JT.
Senior veteran coach John Trimble. I spent 20 years in the mental health field. And as I was coming through the program, I just like you guys, I was coming through the program and was approached about being a coach. Best move I ever made. Closed down the practice after a while. And I'm also 100% P&T, part of the old paratrooper brigades. I was with the 1st 75th Ranger Battalion and Charlie Airborne up in Alaska.
You know, and where you came in here with a different path because you were a client previously. I did not. I came here to VACI because I used to be a service officer. So I've seen where veterans struggled and decided that this was an amazing place to be able to come in, continue to help out our fellow brothers and sisters. PTSD is what we're talking about. There are multiple kinds. I know that we have covered combat PTSD in the past. Today, we will cover non-combat PTSD, MSTs, disaster and terrorism aspects of it. So this is a challenging subject for those that experience these types of things. Both of us experience these symptoms. And so all too familiar with PTSD, unfortunately.
Non-combat covers so many different areas, and it could be just outside of combat, or it could be something that happened during training that creates a situation to where you're dealing with something that's banging around in your head on a daily basis. That's basically how I became a psychologist, is because I'm trying to figure out what that is that's banging around in my head and why I had so many different symptoms. And the VA recognizes the 31 symptoms. And each one of those symptoms do play a heavy part in a veteran's life. Especially going from being in the military and then going to civilian life, we're going to run into a few things that are a little bit different. It moves at a different speed in civilian life. But it's interesting how each one of these symptoms can actually create something that you go through on a normal daily basis. For instance, my daughters used to tease me all the time when I'm driving home, and all of a sudden, for some reason, I took a different route. And I'd always play it off like I'm doing something covert or something like that. Like, I don't want somebody following us home, so I took a different route there, sweetheart. No, it wasn't that. I actually blanked on it and forgot that I turned left at that particular road. That's a symptom. It can be a heavy symptom for PTSD. A lot of people get caught up with wording of certain symptoms. There's one in particular, and I think that we need to talk about it, and it's not an easy subject to talk about, that's suicidal ideation. There's actually two types of those. One is active, and that's where you actually have a plan, and you maybe have carried out some of that plan. Now, if you're part of that situation, you really do need to make sure that you have handy the hotline and reaching out to buddies and stuff like that. The second one is more of one that just is kind of passing. I wonder how the world would be without me. Hallucination is another one. If you're ever walking through your house late at night, you got all the lights off, and you're actually getting ready to check the locks for the 10th time, which happens to be another symptom. But as you're doing that, you see something out of the corner of your eye, and as a warrior, you're focused in on it. As you concentrate on it, it looked like somebody standing there, but it's actually nothing but the wind blowing on a curtain. Those are the two that I really think that everybody gets hung up on. So if you're actually experiencing it, it's okay to talk about it. That's what the veteran community is all about. We're supposed to be talking about it so we don't end up with the first one, because there's something dear to my heart, especially with PTSD, is the 22 veterans that decide to call it quits daily. A lot of these symptoms can come from the non-combat area.
Yep. There's that personal salt aspect of it.
Right.
You know, I when it comes to this too, I've worked with a lot of veterans who responded to disasters when they were in the military, right? So they were activated on orders to respond to disasters. And when they were there, we see things that change us. A lot of this is a daily struggle for us. And so you mentioned that transition coming from service to civilian life. That's a challenge for a lot of us getting back
Right.
into a workforce where people don't have that, mission ready mindset where we have to succeed. There is no failure, right? Failure is not an option. And so it gets difficult then. So there's those difficulties at work, at home, with family, friends. And so, as you mentioned, we have to be honest about these things. That's the most important aspect of it, in my opinion. You know, no matter what it is that we go through, if we can't tell that doctor that, we'll be underrated every day.
PTSD does have a different feel to it because you do have to have a stressor event. And because of that stressor event, that is the thing that keeps coming back and banging around in your head. Whatever it is, whether it's combat, non-combat, or MST, the military sexual trauma, there's an event or set of events that have created that chemical imbalance upstairs. If you're going through this and you're having to bring out all the stuff that you don't want to talk about, but you have to because that's the first step in the recovery part. There is light at the end of the tunnel.
The VA has to be able to verify the in-service stressor to be able to grant you service connection for PTSD, which
Right.
kind of leads me into where most veterans don't report military sexual traumas at all, ever, right? So for things like that, this is where I'll tell you, even on the form that you fill out, the stressor statement for PTSD for sexual assault, there are markers that the VA looks for to be able to verify that even though you had not reported these events in service, that they can verify that you were still potentially exposed to those events as a result of these markers. Most veterans don't seek mental health treatment for stressors in service. Okay. And this is where I was saying being able to, the VA is going to look for a verifiable stressor, right? So when you complete a stressor statement, you identify what it is that you were exposed to with a timeline so that the VA can then verify that timeline where you were and that potential event occurred. And so if your stressor event wasn't recorded, don't be surprised. I'm not surprised because it's not common. And so, this is where, as JT was saying, getting with a coach to be able to make sure that you have the proper medical evidence to submit, that your forms, that you're completing those stressor statements appropriately for the VA to be able to verify that stressor without going back and forth, it helps your claims process a lot more.
You are not weak by doing this. You're actually stronger by doing this because you are building up ways to get past that. Because no matter what, you do have a life to live, and that life does come after your service. But with those markers, if you see, say your performance level went down in your performance reports, PT scores, all kinds of different things get affected by this. You can prove it in many different ways. The thing is to keep fighting, keep getting through that, keep telling yourself you didn't do anything wrong. Okay, there's nothing that you did. This is something that happened to you, and it needs to be recognized, but mainly so you can keep moving those steps so you can actually get through the rest of your life. And there's multiple ways of doing this too. By getting with a coach, you could put the puzzle pieces together. The coach will put the puzzle pieces together. See, you could be going straight up with it, but yet if we decide to change gears and actually take it secondary off of a different thing, it doesn't matter how we got there. It matters that we get there.
I just want to remind everybody, none of us like talking about PTSD.
Right.
For most of us that don't know how to talk about these things, this is a safe place for you here at VA Claims Insider. You can talk to your coach about these types of things. You do not have to go into details with your coach about these events. You will have to complete a form that we can review and make sure it's all squared away. But I don't need you to tell me everything that happened. You'll need to tell the mental health provider to make sure that you get that out, But For me, man, when it comes to these types of things, it's very difficult, JT, to open up and be honest about that. But that's what the VA looks for in terms of our rating. I have relied on the other senior veteran coaches many times to help me navigate some of these issues that I've dealt with. You have been instrumental in that. And that's where I would flat out say, don't be afraid to reach out to somebody for help in this type of a situation. We're not alone in this. And I want to reiterate that over and over again. This is your opportunity to change the way that you have seen these things for years now, more than likely, and learn that these are rateable conditions through the VA. One thing that I've learned over the years, JT, is that so many of us veterans don't think that we qualify for this because this is what we signed up for, but that's not true.
Right. And you bring up another good point. Our families do see this. Matter of fact, if you're you think everything's just hunky dory, ask. I'm sure somebody's going to tell you, I don't know, that Dad, you're a little aggressive, or honey, you're that kind of makes me wonder about what you do. So we also owe it to our families too. I suggest that you go through it, you personally, okay? And then include the family. So that way they can actually understand too. There is nothing stronger than a family team aspect. And to get to that point, they need to know what you're going through. Make it a little bit more easy for them to not only understand, but to go like, well, maybe we should try this. Or, now I know why you want to know where all the exits are when you get to the restaurant, or any of that type of stuff.
We don't care if you would prefer somebody other than us. We just want to make sure that you get the help that you deserve to obtain the benefits that you deserve.
Reach out and we'll get you through this. And we'll get you in a situation to where you're going to be taken care of.
With VACI, if you sign up for the elite program, you do get that strategy, the education, and the medical evidence that you need to help win your claim faster and at the rating that you deserve. You get that one-on-one coaching. So you're having strategy sessions. They can help, they can get on the phone with you and walk you through that claim submission. There's the CNP prep, classes that we offer. I get on the phone and prep my clients before their CNP exams. Those live Zoom classes 3 times a day. We also offer coffee with the coaches on Monday through Friday, which to me has been better therapy than the VA doctor that I've gotten. And so coffee with the coaches is that hour Monday through Friday where we just get to come and shoot the breeze and enjoy life. I laugh more in that hour during the day than I do any other time. And so I used a VSO when I first started with my claims process. I wish I knew about VACI when I finally got to 100%. They weren't around yet, but there's a big difference between the services that are out there that are available. And one thing that I think sets VACI apart are the amazing human beings that we have here that are willing to go above and beyond to ensure that our fellow brothers and sisters are receiving these benefits that they deserve. So, for me, if you need help, reach out to our organization at vaclaimsinsider.com because we'd love to partner with you on your VA claim journey.
Go ahead and contact us. You'll get a warrior that's ready to rock and roll for you.
The best phone calls I have with veterans are the ones where they're like, I never thought this was possible, Aaron. And I have to remind people, you're the one that did it. I only coach you through this process. You're the one that goes in there and is honest about what you're dealing with. And you're the one that's going in and fighting for your benefits. I'm in the trenches with you and we're going to get you there, but you got to step up. If you're on the fence, sign up for that free 30-minute strat call. Otherwise, go into the elite membership and get signed up for free. That way you can get linked with your coach and get started today.
Today is definitely a good day to start.
I want to thank everybody for taking their time out of their day to be here with Dr. John and I. It's been a pleasure. We look forward to serving you in the future. And again, sign up so we can get you squared away. Have a great rest of the day, everybody. Be blessed.
Yes, definitely. Take care of each other.